Okay, guys, you want to see the Triple S Gambit? Here it is. Let me just make sure audio is coming through. Testing 1, 2. Okay, we're good. Okay, guys, so here's the Triple S Gambit. And it doesn't matter what color you play as. I can run it either way. So, without showing black side. Well, okay, so the first move is pawn to e3. Then they will usually go up 2. Then you do bishop. Then they'll say, well, I'm going to take the center. So they'll come up 2. And it doesn't matter which way they go. If they go 1, that's fine too, because what you want is the diagonal on here. And maybe they'll do a knight. So then, here's the move, guys. Here's the brilliant move. Let me take off my slippers, because this floor is a little loud. Here's the brilliant move. You do king to f1. And that is what throws everybody off. And when I'm playing online, sometimes people just blast right through it, but sometimes I get like a 10-second pause because they're thinking like, what is he doing? Because nobody's ever seen this. There is not an opening. I mean, maybe there is, but there is not an opening that nobody knows. Like whatever their opening was is not counting for the king to be on f1. So their opening is completely hosed. So now they have no clue what to do. So they'll usually bring up like a knight or something, or I think usually they get this knight up here. So then your next move is queen to e1. And then usually they'll bring up their knight. And now I have found that in the higher level play, they start bringing out bishops and stuff to do different openings and stuff. And so if they move out the dark square bishop, then this checkmate does not work. But this is still my opening. And so here is where you can choose to take the gambit. The gambit is either, well, if you want to run the gambit, you do pawn to d4, okay? So the gambit is they take, you take. Now they think, oh yeah, free piece. Nope, because you bring your bishop out and that's checkmate. Because you have a double attack and they can't do anything. And I love it. When people, sometimes you'll get funny responses. They'll be like, I can't believe I lost to that or whatever. And so I didn't learn this from anybody. I figured this out myself. Maybe somebody else already has this. I mean, because chess is a very old game. But my opening, so let's say that they don't, here we are. So let's say that if they don't take the gambit and they come down, that's good because you want to block this square for what you're going to do next. But or they'll just not take it. What you don't want to do is you don't want to take it because now you got 2 pawns lined up and just blocks the king. And so usually I don't actually run the gambit because in higher levels usually they bring out a bishop or something. Because anyways, so how my opening goes from here is hang on. I'm sorry. I'm just reading the comments just to make sure. Okay, it sounds like you guys can hear me. I mean, it looks like you can. You never know. So typically what my move is going to be, I'll either bring up my h3 pawn or else I'll bring up my f4. Either way. So that pawn will help for this exchange because you don't want to exchange. You want to, okay. So let me back up. You want to get, well, what I want to do. What I want to do is I want to free up a file, a rank, a row, whatever, a column. There it is. By getting a pawn off of and creating an open column, preferably on the H. So after this position, if you decide to not run with the gambit, the opening continues with what you're going to do is you're going to push pawns for the castle because typically they castle. And if they castle the other side, it doesn't matter because you can run up and get a queen. And it doesn't work all the time, guys. I'm not the best player, but I'll show you this in action and show you what it looks like. So typically, you can I'll run a pawn up here, and if they take, then I'll take, and then I'll bump up this pawn, and then your bishop's protecting this piece. Because your whole push is this way. And usually what they'll do is they'll be like, oh, I know it. I'm going to get my rook here, and I'm going to pin down the queen by moving my knight over here, and then the rook will come down and get him. But we know that, guys. That's all part of the plan. That's not where it goes. What you want them to castle. You want them to castle. And so they'll come up or whatever. And so we push up a pawn here, and then they'll castle. And then we'll push up another pawn. And then they'll move him here. And then you'll go here. And then they'll go here. And they're trying to get this exchange. Except for they got to get this dude out of the way. So they'll do something else. But basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to get this this knight will then move. And it's pretty fun. He'll get into weird situations. That's on the wrong square. And so if he'll move there or whatever. And so I like this move because if you exchange bishops, then the whole point is to get this file open because now your queen can come out and then you can get check and checkmate like that. It doesn't always work, but it's kind of fun to do. I've been enjoying it. So let's back up here. So sometimes they don't take that exchange. Usually what they'll do is they'll try to hit this diagonal, and so they'll try to get their pawn out here. And then you watch out. If they bring up their knight over here, you just bring up this knight, and that protects this space because it's a fork between these two pieces, so they come down, and you can get them and protect them until you have time to bump up your pawn to target them. Or depending on what's happening on this side of the board, if they've castled and you've been able to get a file open and they come, let's see here, wherever it is, and then they come up. Oh, no, there and then there. Okay, and they come up here. Sometimes I will just abandon that piece, come here. They'll be like, oh, yes, I get a free rook. And it's like, no, you don't, because you get checkmated. So anyways, that is the process of how this works. But anyways.